Welcome, this is Information Service Engineering, lecture number 6, putting it all together. This is the very last part of the lecture, Exploratory Search. What are we going to do in this very last part? I will show you how to make use of semantic technology to enable exploratory search. But first of all, we have to distinguish pure retrieval from what is called exploration. So let's start with a retrieval. Usually in a retrieval problem, you are looking for something and you are looking for something specific. This means you exactly know what you are looking for. You just want to find it. This means you have to specify somehow your search request to find in a pinpoint way exactly something specific, like for example this book. So what you need to identify that book in a library would be, you would need the author name and you would need the title. So here it would be Jules Verne and From the Earth to the Moon. So usually you are using for that kind of search unique identifiers or some kind of descriptive metadata. So if you exactly use this kind of data, let's keep in mind we are in a library, then you would probably go in a library to the index catalog, and then in the catalog you would look up the author name and of course the title, and then probably you would find such a very nice card in which there is the name written and of course other bibliographic metadata of the book and probably also where you could find it. So we found what we were looking for. What's next? Let's stay in the library. So next time you come to the library, you want to find another book. You read the first book you have found, you found it quite nice, and now you want to find something similar, something which is also of interest for you. So this means probably find books on the same or on related topics. How did the author that you just read, how did he develop over the time, or how did the topic develop over the time? So what else would I like to read? So this question is much more difficult to answer. So usually what you do in a library, you are going to ask the librarian. Yeah, but how should we do it in a search system? This is much more difficult to achieve. So this then is exploratory search, and if you find one of these books you see here below, you might be quite happy because this might also be of interest for you if you are a fan of Jules Verne and if you liked From the Earth to the Moon. So in a traditional library, what you usually do to enable exploratory search first is, of course, you look at the shelves where we have found the first book. So traditional libraries enable already exploratory search by the way how they organize to store their documents. So the documents are stored in a specific way, so probably the authors of all science fiction novels or all French authors, they stand together and in the shelf they are probably ordered in an alphabetical way or something like that. So this would be a specific order which enables already exploratory search because you simply would go to the search and then screen and browse through the shelf. Probably there is something other that might be of interest for you. And if this doesn't help, of course, you ask for intelligent recommendations. So you need a recommender system, and in a library the recommender system of course is the friendly librarian that is there. So in traditional libraries everything is quite nice. There exploratory search really happens. But we want to establish this in an information retrieval system or on the web. So what is exploratory search again? It represents the activities carried out by searchers who are either unfamiliar with the domain or unfamiliar of their goal. This means they need to learn about the topic in order to understand how to achieve their original goal. Sometimes also they are unsure about the way how to achieve their goal, either the technology or the process. Or even they are unsure about their goals in the first place and they just want to have a look. So these are situations that are explicitly characterized for exploratory search. So what you do there is more or less browsing instead of searching. And probably you find something by chance that you didn't expect, but that is of high interest for you. So this interesting process is called serendipity. Sometimes you like to get an overview, what is over there, or you want to enable somehow a content-based navigation that guides you in some way. So this is like the organization in a shelf. So you want to see things that belong together, that have similar content or that are related somehow together. These are all ways to establish exploratory search. To enable exploratory search on the web, there are a few examples. One of them that I wanted to show you is a nice browser that is established in a blog that we have written for several times, and the blog is called Sky High blog. So this is the blog on the history of science, art and technology. And there is an article, for example. This is a WordPress plugin, by the way. And here you see all the words in the article, they are underlined. And for example, if you hover over a word like that, it's semantically annotated, and you see what kind of data can be accessed via this kind of annotation. So this word here, Jules Verne, this is annotated with the entity Jules Verne from DBpedia, and via that, of course, specific data has explicitly online asked from DBpedia and can be displayed within the website. So this is one benefit of semantic annotation. But we want to enable exploratory search. This takes a while usually, but we have a kind of browser that takes into account, of course, the entity on focus, that's Jules Verne, and all the other entities that might be mentioned in the text or somewhere else in the blog. And now here you see some entities. Green entities here are, for example, persons. Blue entities are locations. Yellow entities are events, and the purple entities is all the rest. And if you want to know, for example, how a specific entity you have here, like for example, let's take that guy, or let's take Wernher von Braun, so famous rocket scientist. How is he related to Jules Verne? Then you can see here in the relationship browser, for example, that Wernher von Braun has been influenced by Jules Verne. And you can also see another interesting information if you're interested in it. For example, Wernher von Braun is born in the province of Posen. The thing is also, if you now want to know more about Wernher von Braun, simply click on that guy and then he will be taken into the focus, and you see with what other kind of entities he is related with. And here you see you can learn more about the relation among the entities, and also you can access here recommended articles that are related, of course, to what you were looking for. So this is kind of an exploratory search that gives you more information within your search process. Okay, so now the question is, how do we implement this based on linked data? Okay, let's take the following example. We start out with a book we had already in mind from Jules Verne. So this is From the Earth to the Moon. And of course we know this book also is available in knowledge bases like, for example, DBpedia. So here we have the DBpedia data of From the Earth to the Moon. What kind of information is hidden there? So on the one hand we find out this is a book, of course. On the other hand, we also see, okay, the author who has written the book has written a previous book. So this might be already of interest for us. So here it's In Search of the Castaways. What else? We see that the book belongs to several subjects or categories. So it's in the category of 1865 novels. It's a French science fiction novel, and so on and so on. So it's interesting to know in which category the book is, because then we can also look for other books of the same categories and find something similar which might interest us. Okay, of course we will find out that the author is Jules Verne. And of course, if we're interested in that, we might find out that this author has been influenced by another author, who is H.G. Wells. So one way to recommend other books could be simply look for similar things that are somehow connected with a thing you had originally in mind. So we had originally in mind From the Earth to the Moon, and we have, for example, two other books which are connected via other properties. We have a subsequent work and we have a previous work, and both of them are also of type books, which make them a good, of course, recommendation. But of course they are rather similar. It's clear they are from the same author, they are subsequent works, and so on and so on. And probably you are interested in something which is a bit more diverse. So let's have a deeper look. What else can we do? So we see that From the Earth to the Moon has been written by Jules Verne, and then we can simply look, okay, what other books did Jules Verne write? So this is then a second stage proximity of other books, so the same type, to our original item that we have in mind. So probably Matthias Sandorf or A Journey to the Center of the Earth might be of interest to you. Probably they are still too similar and you are looking for something else. Then, of course, we go one step further. We are looking for a related author. So, for example, H.G. Wells, who has been influenced by Jules Verne. And then we are looking for the books, again, same type, of H.G. Wells. And then probably you will have the recommendation, The Invisible Man, or The Island of Dr. Moreau, or The War of the Worlds, which then would suit you. So this is a way how you could enable exploratory search, which means going step by step a bit away from what you had originally in focus to enable you a guided tour through the search space, a guided exploration of what is available there. And this, of course, is rather closely related to recommender systems. So here, search systems and recommender systems, they somehow grow together. So let's recapitulate. Exploratory search represents the activities carried out by a searcher who are either unfamiliar with the domain, who are unsure about the ways how to achieve their goal, or who are unsure about their goals in the first place. Recommender systems are closely connected, but however, for recommender systems, usually they seek to predict the preferences of a user, but they would give to a specific item. And these preferences, of course, they can be content related, and this is exactly where exploratory search comes into place. So, what's next? So what you could do then, for example, you could tell me what movie I should watch next. And please don't make any boring suggestions. So that's it with the lecture. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you have learned something and I hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Goodbye.